2 of our special investigation of a nationwide chain of yoga and wellness centers that some former members say is a cult. In a federal suit filed on behalf of 27 former members of Dahn Yoga, one of the central allegations is that the chain's founder sexually assaulted a woman who had devoted herself to the organization. The lawsuit also claims the ex-employees were manipulated into serving the financial ends of its leader. Dahn Yoga and its founder deny any wrongdoing and say it's not a cult, and many of its current employees have been emailing CNN defending the group. Here now, Kira Phillips with our Special Investigations Unit report. Take a look.
Jade Harrelson says she was honored by the extra attention paid to her by Ilchi Lee, the founder of Dahn Yoga. He even gave her the spiritual name of Dahn Soon Lee.
To me, it was never outright spoken that he was godlike. That was never the message, but that he was prophet-like. And so I took his word as holy, almost. We'd go to the sauna. Sometimes he would have me over to his apartment to watch television.
Rare treatment because Ilchi Lee, who often travels with bodyguards, is practically unapproachable. And Lee encourages his followers to think of him as a prophet. Just listen to him in the spring of 2009 as he rallied his supporters, comparing his book Brainwave Vibration to the Bible.
Brainwave vibration is a scripture. It's a holy scripture. Do you all understand?
Jade Harrelson says she not only understood, she believed, even following her new guru to Seoul, South Korea at his request, and to his apartment every time he called for her.
You trusted him?
I trusted him.
Were you attracted to him at all?
Absolutely not.
But that trust, she says, abruptly vanished after a night in 2007, propelling this devotee into a life-changing world of doubt.
He just slowly took my clothes off of me and pushed me where he wanted me to go. And I numbly, like a robot, just responded.
Why didn't you tell him to stop?
I had been so taught and trained that he was a holy person, a holy object, and he was my connection to divinity. And again, just to say no to him and to refuse him was to refuse everything that I wanted for myself.
Harrelson concedes she never filed a police report and waited 2 years to file a civil suit. We asked for an on-camera interview with Ilchi Lee and were turned down. So we followed him here to the grand opening of Mago Earth Park near Sedona, Arizona, and this 39-foot statue representing what his followers call the soul of Mother Earth.
Mr. Lee, I'm Kira Phillips for CNN, and we just want your response to the allegations of sexual assault against one of your former Dahn masters. We just want your side of the story, sir.
A former translator for that.
So our CNN photographer, who speaks Korean, translated. Lee tells me this is the first time I'm hearing of such accusation.
Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me.
And then his bodyguards knocked down our camera.
Don't touch the camera.
Lee's lawyer later told CNN all claims of sexual assault are false.
Mr. Lee has denied all of those allegations, and we are confident that we will get those claims dismissed in court.
Then there's what happened to Julia Sivrels.
Until this day, we're still affected by this. I just can't describe the pain.
Alan Sivrels is talking about his sister, Julia, a 41-year-old college professor who grew up in New York City's hardscrabble projects. She thought she had found her life's purpose in the teachings of Ilchi Lee.
She saw some positive things about the spirituality, the growth, the opportunity to share with the world.
So Julia dedicated herself to Dahn Yoga, eventually making her way here to its exclusive retreat, tucked away among the beautiful red rocks of Sedona, Arizona. She wanted to achieve its highest honor, the rank of Dahn Master. And to do that, she would have to prove her worthiness in more than words.
The day before she died, she did communicate to my ex-wife about the exercise that she was embarking on. She was very uneasy about it.
A gut feeling that would ultimately turn tragic. It was just after 9 a.m. on a blistering hot July day that Julia came out to this mountain with other Dahn Yoga members to take on a hike. It was all to show their strength and mental fortitude. However, Julia wasn't doing so well. Matter of fact, I talked to the off-duty sheriff's deputy that saw her that day. He said she was struggling and that she looked, quote, mentally handicapped. And at times, other hikers had to drag her along this mountain by her armpits. Well, Julia Sivrils never finished that Dahn Yoga hike on this mountain that day. She died here. Alan says Julia was made to carry 25 pounds of rocks in her backpack. Each rock, a symbol of a goal she was trying to attain within the organization.
Tell me why you brought some rocks home.
It's just a rock to anybody else. But to us, it represents the pain, the hurt, the journey that we all embarked on.
Dahn Yoga settled out of court with the family and says carrying rocks on the hikes was purely voluntary. And sheriff's investigators say they found no evidence of criminal wrongdoing.
It was an unfortunate hiking accident.
But for the Sivrils, too many details surrounding Julia's death on this mountain remain a mystery.
Now, as for Julia's cause of death, the medical examiner says she died of both dehydration and exposure to the elements. As for Dahn Yoga, its website boasts an impressive list of scientists and politicians who applaud the work of Ilchi Lee. And since our first segment was broadcast last night, we have been flooded with comments from viewers both pro and con.
And Kira, I do have a couple of questions. I mean, why does the family still consider Julia's death a mystery?
It's a great question. You may remember the off-duty sheriff's deputy that I mentioned that I talked with. According to the police report, she died at about 9 a.m. in the morning, but the 911 call wasn't made until a little after 4 p.m. That's about 7 hours. However, Dahn Yoga insists there was no delay in calling for help.
Also, in your piece, the head of Dahn Yoga talks about his book, Brainwave Vibration. What is that about?
Isn't that interesting? We've been receiving that question from a lot of people, and we wondered the same thing as well. So we actually went to our CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta. As you know, he's a neurosurgeon. I asked him, have you ever heard of it? Do you know anything about it? This is what he told me. Have you ever heard of brain education or brainwave vibration?
Never heard of it.
Bottom line.
Okay.
That was it.
And that says it all.
Yes, and he says a lot more. And the fact that there is just no scientific proof to this method that they claim heals all types of ailments. And you'll see more of that tomorrow night.